How's your spirit? Mine, actually, quite well. And as much as I could, I won't blame it on the cannabis. This is the day that the Lord has made. So it's a great day to get up, get out, and get something. Don't let the days of your life pass by. Shout to the good now. Get up, get out, and get something. Can't spend all your time trying to get high. Very, very true. And I have been spending several years now trying to get up, get out, and get this cannabis consulting business started along with the book. And nuanced conversations. So anyway, that's what this stream is about. How it all started. I mean, like the JP, the Aspiring Matriarch YouTube origin story. I want to say late 2020, early 2021. I began looking at, well, let me back up more than that a bit. Like 2017, 18, I had begun discussing with family members, beginning a podcast and getting into the cannabis business because I knew that exactly what is happening right now was going to happen, that they were going to begin to work on federalizing it, that they were going to begin to make it so that people could go to work even though they would test positive for cannabis, that cannabis was going to be a medical breakthrough. I knew all of these things. I knew all of these things when my mother had cancer. That's 96. I knew for certain by 2016 that this would be a booming thing, and a booming, not just like, a little bit, a lot of it, because cannabis is truly helpful to a lot of people. So, excuse me. Like I said, I started talking to my family about that and writing my first book. At the same time, that's how God gave them to me. And so I went with it. I still have those notes over there. And so, apologies. Anyway, no one wanted to do this thing with me. No one wanted to do a podcast. No one wanted to get anywhere near cannabis except smoke it. Possibly even, traffic the shit. But no one wanted to actually do the work of the research and the behind the scenes information of getting a business off the ground and being the person to do anything. So that was up to me. But I knew it was what I wanted to do, so I ran with it, and I continue to. I had 5 things. It was cannabis, communication, chords, conversation, and compassion. Those were the 5 principles that I built my foundation on. Then I went to work building my channel, actually my platform, because here's the thing, I don't see it as anything different, right? So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, any of them can all work together to be your platform, where they are individual platforms or channels, but they are your in total platform. So I started building my platform. I was on Twitter first. I mean, technically I was on Facebook first, but I wasn't really doing anything. So Twitter, Facebook. I finally came over to YouTube. I came over to YouTube as a result of recognizing a scam going down on Twitter. Doing what I could, but not a whole lot that I could do, considering. Anyway, and they stole from me. They stole my information on certain things. I'm pretty sure they probably had to do with the hacking. Anyway, I went from there, and I started watching. I was always watching content creators, to be fair, picking up on certain things and idiosyncrasies, what I like, what I didn't like, what I would want to put into my stream in some way, and whatnot. And so I came across the lead attorney, and he was a small channel at the time. Um, I remember when he had like 1,000 subscribers, and he was fussing at them about not watching the content. And I think around 10,000 subscribers when he was fussing again, but he was starting to show some revenue things. I really enjoyed his content in the beginning, when he was attorneying, so to speak. Over time, his platform changed. See, everybody came in, and at first there was camaraderie, but there was competition, friendly competition, I suppose. And then it got kind of ugly. But I like the lead attorney. I was in some private chats and back groups, and we were talking about things. One of the things that everybody was discussing was starting a Black network. And at this time, Kevin Samuels is still alive. It's Kevin too. And Kevin was at that point a kingmaker. He could make anybody, he could help anybody rise, so to speak. If he sat on their panel, if he was on their channel, any of those things. Him, O'Shea Duke Jackson, there's a couple of other people who were names at the time. And so you've got, excuse me, all of the major, or at this point, pretty much everyone's new, but all of the major Black content creators and the newer ones too, in same spaces, similar groups, categories, and those things. Because at the time, YouTube's algorithm just had us all in the same group as Black people. And I don't think anyone ever recognized that in the beginning, right? So first it was Black YouTube. And then we, because of the nature of people, began to separate ourselves, and we separated into different things. But back to the beginning. So there's the lead attorneys camp, there's the Lapeef people, there's Kevin Samuels, Abba and Preach, Fresh and Fit. I don't include Corey Kenshin and the others because they are different. One, gamers in a different category, a different beast. If you're someone of my generation specifically, you remember the shows like Arsenio Hall, Johnny Carson. We're of that age range, and that's what we were creating, many of us, so to speak, something in that kind of genre. And so you got all these different groups. Then it comes out, oh, let's create a men's network. That was the first thing. It's mostly men, right? Black men don't have the agency of their own network, of their own, of being a targeted group or demographic for a lot of things that are positive, so to speak, right? So Kevin Samuels decides to go out and find his people, his 4 horsemen. Now, in the meantime, a predator sneaks in. His name is Glenn. I can't remember his last name at the moment. Also, they start trying to work together to figure out what kind of shows they can create and whatnot. And they create this online dating situation, kind of like spinning off of Kevin Samuels or whatever. And they use content creators. Well, that becomes a behind-the-scenes situation. And one of the people who came over from Clubhouse, his name was King, or Meku. He goes on to create his own channel, and he goes against the lead attorney and Anton Daniels, or the Lapeef Network. Mostly Anton, I believe. Okay? At this point, I'm just a content creator in the middle, just looking around like, what do you think I should do? You keep moseying along. Although I know at this point, one, King wanted to make me his sacrificial lamb. And if you understand anything about anyone trying to get into the entertainment industry, someone has to be sacrificed. Bruh, it was never going to be me. They were always playing checkers. And I was playing 5-dimensional chess out this bitch. You know what I'm saying? So, the reason why this ring of buffoonery is absolutely so large is because of that. The beginnings of this thing. So, at some point, this gentleman, Glenn, let me back up. So, this gentleman, Glenn, no, let me back up. Anton Daniels' channel goes through a situation. He loses it. His channel gets deleted for a bit. I think they got it back up eventually. I'm not really sure, I'll be honest. And so they have to go on this like whirlwind apology tour because of what happened on their channel and get support to get their network back up and running. In order to get the weight off of him for some of what it was and what it looked like, Anton did a piece on this gentleman named Glenn, who apparently was a predator of sorts. But no one like turned him in or anything that I'm aware of. It was a brief scandal skeptical. He went on the lead attorney, and they questioned him there, though not a lot. And then it just kind of fell off, and I didn't understand what had happened. I was like, there's an attorney right there. It's gotta be something, right? And then behind the scenes, all the networking is happening, and people began doxing one another and calling the FBI and CPS. I guess because someone should have called the FBI and CPS on Glenn. Anyway, all the while I'm I'm going through my live streams and I'm healing from whatever it is that's killing me, or I'm trying to anyway. This is before I died. Came out here to get some heat and save my life. And turn it around. Look at that. Anyway. The situation with the gentleman named Glenn happens and nothing really comes of it, so to speak. But that's really when I got onto, I was always telling the truth. I was telling my truth, but then I started researching other things and seeing what was going on and how our children were being preyed upon in the multitude of ways that it can happen. Look at the Brother Polite case. You know, why is your 14-year-old going to a party at 2 o'clock in the morning? And any adult's okay with it. That's a clear sign that this child could at some point be trafficked. No one's paying attention. It's negligence. And this is not a hit at the mother or anything. It's just, it is what it is. And if you're familiar, like I said, we're talking about trying to build a network for Black men. That's a lot of money. Who do you think has that money? Because Kevin didn't. The ones who were pulling his strings did. Jim Stinger. So anyway. The elite, the Illuminati, so to speak, have a hand to play in it. And then in our culture, you've also got the Divine Nine, which Kevin was a part of. So when I say, where do you think the money comes from? That's what I mean. Okay? Your sitting vice president is a member of the Divine Nine. politics, and predators. They've been in bed together for a very long time. I mean, basically how you colonize, ain't it? Anyway. So now you got these individual factions of larger content creators. And inside of their chats and groups, you've got smaller factions of smaller content creators. And it just becomes a cluster of shenanigans. Me, I just try to stay out the way. Dodge the landmines, the bullets, and this in between. It's pretty much all you could do at the time. I never lost sight of my goals, my dreams, and my visions, and so that's why the people, whatever. I never got involved in it. Not to that degree. People tried to involve me because of whom I was willing to work with. Working with you doesn't mean that I agree with your politics or everything that you do. Working with you does not make me responsible for you or your shenanigans. Now, if you work for me, well, that's a little bit different. Working for me, you're going to do the right thing, or you're not going to work for me. Ask the people who worked for me. So anyway, I really just wanted to give you a little background in history. Like, it really seems a long time ago, but it's not. I'm talking about 2021 and it's 2023. That's just a couple of years. It's a couple of years of people gang stalking and bullying me, spying on me, following me, poisoning me, voodoo, which in itself I don't know is a bad thing, black magic. The desire to harm me because I saw these things coming. I'll be honest with you. Before February of last year, I didn't think I was speaking prophecy or things that were to come. I could just see the writing on the walls. Like, this is how the world works. If you do this thing, this is going to happen. I also didn't anticipate or expect that people would believe me. For a lot of people, seeing is believing. And in some ways, I'm one of them. Spirit keeps promising me something, and I keep saying, yeah, okay, Spirit, we'll see. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm too nonchalant, I suppose. It's just that I know it's in God's hands, and it's in God's timing. That's the last thing. They tried to stand on God. They claim to be Christian. They claim to be upright members of society. And yet, the entire time they were doing terrible things to scam their own people. And that was just too much for me and God and the Black American legacy, in my opinion. I told people some time ago that the ancestors were angry. I told you in 2020, after the death of George Floyd, that the universe was a black mother. She was pissed. So I am the mother of men. I get it. I understand. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. God's call. Keep staring at see on the streets. Jesus. God loves you. God loves you. I do too. Love yourself. Peace.